On August 2024, the Xbox 360 online service will be forever unplugged, erasing hundreds of digital-only games forever. But the Xbox 360 approaches its 18-year anniversary. Good goddamn, I'm old. Which makes it currently fairly affordable at the moment to get a console and some games. So here is a list of games from my research that are not backwards compatible on any other Xbox systems, were never re-released, and may have been on a PS3, but if it was, it also wasn't backwards compatible there, nor was it the exact same type. Maybe it was altered in one way or another, okay? Now keep in mind, this isn't every game that is non-backwards compatible. These are the physical games that you can purchase. Also, this is my personal opinion. I am a collector. That is my hobby. These games may never rise a single cent in value, but I believe they're worth owning, because owning something you just can't get anywhere else is awesome. And I don't think you'll be able to play these games ever again otherwise without owning a physical copy. Without further ado, let's go down this list I curated of Xbox 360 physical games you need to buy right now before they're gone forever. Let's go. I'm going to start off with the Forza Motorsport number 2 to 4, because these games were Xbox 360 exclusives, and the reason that they wouldn't re-release them is because there are so many licenses involved. I mean, you got to think BMW, Audi, I mean, tons, just tires, everything you can think of. It would cost them an arm and a leg to re-release any of the Forzas, so they fall into it. Personally, I don't really collect them. I'm not a driving game person. I think the only driving simulation game I ever really got into, like hardcore, honestly, was the first Gran Turismo. And since then, nothing. I also want to bring up, kind of as an honorable mention, those weird Burger King games. So if you didn't know this, there was a short promo back in, I think, like 2007, somewhere around that time, where Burger King let you buy one of 3 games if you bought a Whopper meal for like $4. And they were sealed full 360 games. I own all 3 of these sealed. You can find these really cheap, generally on eBay as a set. I'm gonna give them a scale of rarity increase of a 2, because there's so many of them out there that I don't see it really gaining. It might go up in value a little bit, but there's so many of them out there. There was a game called Bomberman Act Zero that was a terrible entry into the Bomberman series that landed exclusively on the 360 and sold like shit. You can honestly find a unopened copy of Bomberman Zero for $10 online. It's only available on Xbox 360. It's not backwards compatible, and as of August of next year, you will not be able to purchase it any other way other than finding a physical copy. So for that reason, and the fact that it's such a weird little terrible game, and as a collector, I know sometimes shitty, bad selling games down the road end up being worth a lot of money, I'm giving it a possible rarity scale of 4. The next one on my list is a game called Wartech Senko no Ronde. This is a mech fighting game that was ported from the arcade. It has a lot of, like, you know, cutesy Japanese girls in mech suits. It's $20 sealed right now. And these weird Japanese ones that made it over to the US that clearly were translated and didn't do well in our market tend to go up in value down the road. So I'm giving this a possible value increase scale of 6. Project Sylpheed is a third-person starfighting game. This game, actually, I own this game. It's really fun. It's cool. It's like a third-person version of a shoot 'em up, but you're like behind the ship, and it has kind of this deep storyline. It's a dope-ass game. So you can also buy a brand new unopened copy right now as of this recording. By the way, obviously these prices are going to change. Everything goes up in value, especially games that are only physically released and not backwards compatible and you can't download anywhere else. So everything I'm telling you now, this is definitely not an evergreen episode, but maybe in a year we'll look back on this and we'll see how much everything rose in value. But right now, you can get a copy, a sealed copy of Project Sylpheed for $20. I'm giving that a scale of 8 on the rarity. I think that one's going to go up in value. Fuzion Frenzy 2 was pretty much Microsoft's Mario Party. They came out with a sequel. The first one was on the original Xbox. Actually, it was pretty fun. Second one I never played, but people say it was hot garbage. This is also another game that is $20 sealed right now. You can find on eBay. By the way, when I tell you these prices, these are approximations. I just kind of round them. I round them either a little up or a little down. So, $5 give or take either direction. So $20 sealed Fuzion Frenzy 2. I'm giving this a rarity possibility scale of 2 because I don't know. These games don't tend to be sought after unless they are literally Mario Party. But seeing as how you can only play this game on the 360 and you can't download it, it doesn't play on any of the newer 360s. It's going to go up at least a little bit in value, right? This is a game called Kingdom Under Fire: Circle of Doom. It's like a third-person Diablo style game that I read was really underrated and people thought was fantastic. RPGs, anything that's kind of starts falling into the RPG area always tend to go up in value. So even though it's an action RPG, third-person action RPG, I'm giving all these at least above a 5 and the possible rarity scale down the road. So this is getting a 6. $25 new. And the last game on my list that you can buy right now, new in box, is Eternal Sonata for $30. This is a JRPG with like an emphasis on music. The story is about a person who's dying, and I think you have to go through their memories and figure out something. And it has to do, they were like a composer or something. But this is an interesting entry because this game also did come out on the PS3, but they made so many changes to that version that it's fairly different gameplay experience completely. Like it went from a relaxing RPG that was like newcomer friendly to a ridiculously punishing and unfair one on the PS3. And the original ending was replaced. So this version of Eternal Sonata is people consider the actual real version. And you can get it unopened for about $30 right now. Being it has this weird variation and it is an RPG that's exclusive, I'm giving this a rarity scale of 9. So this is one for sure you want to pick up complete in box, if not brand new, if you can afford it. Chromehounds is a FromSoft tactical mech simulator with a huge devoted cult following. Pretty much, it's an early FromSoft game. You know how they're big on mechs. They've been behind the Armored Cores and all that. This is $10 complete in box right now. You can get this used complete in box, $10. I'm giving it a rarity scale of 2 because FromSoft is popular. I don't know. The fact that I don't know and that this is like an early Xbox game, or 360 game, I don't really know where to place it. So I'm just going to say 2. This game's title is so crazy. Infinite Undiscovery is an action role-playing game developed by Square Enix that was only released on the Xbox 360 and is not backwards compatible. This is $15 complete in box. But $15 for a Square Enix game that you won't be able to buy down the road tells me that at least this gets a rarity scale of 5. Possible rarity scale of 5. Here's another interesting entry, Wolfenstein. Okay, so there were a lot of Wolfenstein games that came out, first-person shooters, specifically Wolfenstein 2009. This one's interesting. It specifically is the Wolfenstein that came out on that year. It was created by id Software before they were owned by ZeniMax and Raven Software, using ID Tech 4 and published by Activision. So Activision doesn't hold the rights to Wolfenstein anymore. That's essentially owned by Microsoft, so they can never re-release or sell this game again because the license is dead, specifically for the 2009 Wolfenstein. So that makes this like a very bizarre entry, and I see this being a scale of 8 down the road, rarity scale, because it's going to be one of those weird releases that is the only way to play this version, this kind, is this 2009 Wolfenstein on the Xbox 360. N32, or 99 Nights 2, which is another stupid ass name, is $20 complete in box. It's a role-playing hack and slash game in the style of Dynasty Warriors. I remember this game coming out. The first one was popular, so they released a sequel. I don't know. Never really been into these horde type, take down a whole army single-handedly kind of games. I'm giving this a rarity scale of 4. maybe a 5 because it's a sequel. Sometimes sequels that are exclusive end up becoming worth a lot more money, but you never know. Moving on, Tenchu Z. This is a next-gen sequel to the stealth assassin game that I loved, Tenchu Stealth Assassins. I own this game, and it's awesome. It's a decent next-gen edition. So I would pick it up. $20, complete in box, Tenchu Z. Can only play it on the 360. I give it a rarity scale of 4 because I haven't seen this really rise or fall in price in like a decade. But I think it will rise, so... This one's really fun. Another FromSoft game. It's called Ninja Blade. It's currently $25 complete in box. It's a totally over-the-top, ridiculous Ninja Gaiden clone. I mean, there's a scene in it where you surf on a missile. It is so funny. It has some of the... It's just such over-the-top Japanese ridiculousness. It's worth buying because it's such a fun playthrough and it's weird. But it's also a FromSoft game that is not a Souls game or an Armored Core. And that for that reason, I'm giving it a future rarity scale of 7. I would pick this one up. This one goes up. This used to be like $5-10. This one's gone up in price pretty quickly. Next, we're moving on to like the higher tiers, $30-40. So we got Spectral Force 3. It's a tactical RPG. I don't know much about it other than people were complaining. It didn't sell well because people were complaining that it looked like a PS2 game. Like the graphics are really terrible. So it sold bad. It's a part 3. You can only play it on the 360. It's Japanese tactical RPG with a sequel. I'm giving it at least a rarity scale possibility of 5 because it hits all those check marks. Moving on to another JRPG, the Magna Carta 2 complete in box is also $30. It's a JRPG with a unique battle system that mixes real-time and turn-based combat together. So imagine like Diablo style fighting also with like a large party that you can switch in between, but you also can do, it's really hard to explain. You just have to watch a video of it. Magna Carta 2. This one for sure is going to be, I'm giving it a 7. And I mean, I reluctantly feel like I should give it an 8, but I feel like this just the box art, everything about the way this game looks, how weird it is, it's different. It's gonna be worth money down the road. 100% feel it. Moving on to one of the earliest Xbox 360 games, another tactical RPG, but with mech theming. This game is called Zoids Assault. It just looks like, it honestly looks like a developer's first game if you take a look at it. But it's really all it is a tactical RPG with mechs. It's currently $35 complete in box. It's one of the first exclusive games to ever come out on the 360. And I have a feeling, this is going off my gut here, but I have a feeling this is one of those 8s. Like I'm giving this a rarity scale of 8. Because just the way it looks, it reminds me so much of other games in the past that just skyrocketed in value. And I'm going to conclude this episode with the best entry, I think, because this is one of my favorite games of all time. I've owned it. I bought it originally complete, like new, and then opened it. Now I'm down to just having my disc because you never let people borrow your games because you never get your game cases back. But this game is Culdcept Saga. It is a mixture of Monopoly, Magic the Gathering. It's super fun. I know that doesn't sound like much fun, but it's really fun. It's super addictive. I love this game. It's worth having. It's $40 complete in box. But I'm telling you right now, this thing goes up in value like every couple months. So this is something I'm giving this a scale of 10. This series is has an enormous cult following. There've only been 4 games released. The first one was on PS2. The second one was on Xbox 360. Then there was another one on the DS, and then another one that was released just in Japan. So it's very, very niche, and it's a really good game. So, and the only way you'll ever be able to play Culdcept Saga is on the 360, giving this my highest scale of 10. So there you have it, everybody. There are at least 20 plus games that I think you should pick up right now if you're a collector that are reasonable price, that I feel are going to be worth money and are just worth having because you're preserving video game history, and a lot of these games are fun. There aren't a lot of 360 games that actually suck like major balls, you know? I know there are a ton of games that I left out, but I left those out because either the pricing wasn't affordable or they've just been talked about a million times. And if I've made any mistakes here, please feel free to correct me because I know Van Fernal probably will. All right, everybody, I love you, and I will see you next time.